Welcome back. Let's catch up on the major sports stories now with Kayode Alayoke.
Welcome to Sports News. A Nigerian club, Rivers United, is qualified for the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. Rivers United forced Rayon Sports of Rwanda to a goalless draw in the second leg of the final qualifying round, decided at the Amahoro Stadium in Kigali. Rivers United thus progressed 2-0 on aggregate after winning the first leg at the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt last week. The draw for the 16-team group stage is scheduled to hold on Wednesday, April the 26th in Cairo, Egypt. Meanwhile, Chelsea have progressed to the final of the FA Cup with a 4-2 victory at the expense of the North London rivals Tottenham Hotspur in a thrilling encounter at Wembley. Spurs drew level twice with goals from Harry Kane and Dele Alli after Brazil winger Willian puts them ahead on each occasion. Substitute Eden Hazard put the Blues in front before Nemanja Matic fired in the force to keep them on course for the double. Chelsea will face the winner of the second semi-final between Manchester City and Arsenal in the final. In the English Premier League, Bournemouth hammered relegation threatened Middlesbrough 4-0 at the Vitality Stadium with goals from Joshua King, Benik Afobe, Mark Pugh and Charlie Daniels. Borough were reduced to 10 men in the 20th minute after Gaston Ramirez was shown the red card for a second bookable offence. 10-man Hull City secured a 2-0 victory against Watford to ensure they remain outside of the relegation zone and in control of their Premier League destiny. While relegation strugglers Swansea also defeated Stoke City by the same scoreline. Ronald Koeman's Everton missed the chance to move into the top 5 as they drew against West Ham in an uninspiring encounter. In tennis, defending champion Rafael Nadal beat David Goffin 6-3, 6-1 to move within one more win of a 10th Monte Carlo Masters title and first of the season on Saturday. Nadal will play 15th-seeded Albert Ramos Vinolas in an all-Spanish final after the latter beat Lucas Puig 6-3, 5-7 and 6-1. Although the score suggests a comfortable win for the Spaniard, Goffin's momentum was halted by a controversial decision by chair umpire Cedric Muria in the 6th game. And this is a very sad one. 2011 Giro d'Italia champion Michele Scarponi has died after being involved in a road accident during a training ride this morning. Scarponi was hit by a van at a crossroad while out on an early morning training ride in the northern province of Ancona. He leaves a wife and 2 children behind. That's sports news. The rest of the news continues with Harriet in just a moment. Stay with us.
Kenya's ruling party coalition has annulled its primaries, with President Uhuru Kenyatta blaming huge voters' turnout and insufficient electoral materials for the chaos resulting in the cancellation. According to reports, there were delays and skirmishes in many parts of the country as contestants accused opponents of rigging. Mr. Kenyatta, who is seeking a second term in office, has called on voters and contestants to be patient as the party prepares to repeat the vote in the affected areas. While nominations in the capital Nairobi have been pushed back to Monday, the remaining counties will nominate their candidates on Tuesday. Meanwhile, election authorities have mandated all primaries to be held on Wednesday. Over 100 Afghan soldiers have been killed and dozens others wounded in a Taliban attack which was launched on an army base on Friday. The Defense Ministry says fighting lasted for several hours near the city of Mazar-e Sharif in northern Balkh province.
A deadly attack on an Afghan military base leaves scores of soldiers dead or wounded. As many as 10 Taliban fighters dressed in Afghan army uniforms and driving military vehicles made their way onto the base and opened fire on mostly unarmed soldiers eating a meal and leaving a mosque after Friday prayers. The attackers used rocket-propelled grenades and rifles and several detonated suicide vests packed with explosives. There's conflicting reports on the death toll. Officials say at least 140 soldiers were killed and many others wounded, but the Defense Ministry says the toll was over 100 Afghan soldiers killed and wounded in the fighting that lasted several hours.
First, I heard the explosions, sounding like rockets, and then the fighting started.
President Ashraf Ghani paid a visit to survivors of the attack in hospital, wishing them quick recovery. Prayers were later offered for the repose of the souls of the departed soldiers. This is one of the deadliest tolls on the Afghan army by any Taliban attack. Meanwhile, the Afghan government has declared Sunday a day of national mourning.
In Europe, thousands of police officers have been deployed in Cologne, Germany, in case violence erupts at left-wing protests organized against an AfD party conference. The AfD, a populist right-wing and anti-Islam party, will seek to choose a new co-leader to take it up to a general election later this year. Today, however, demonstrators carried banners saying, quote, "Block the Nazis," unquote. Police expect 50,000 protesters and have deployed 4,000 officers. And the main news again. The federal government today restated its commitment to rescuing the remaining Chibok girls from Boko Haram captivity and insisted that the militant group is not occupying any part of Nigeria's territory. Also today, a presidential panel probing the suspended secretary to the government of the Federation and the NIA Director General promised to conduct thorough investigation without fear or favor. And the casualty figures in the Taliban attack on an Afghan military base in northern Balkh province have risen to over 100. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Harriet Agminyi. Have a good night and enjoy your weekend.